that's 70. And if by reason of strength they be fourscore, that's 80. Yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Who knoweth the power of thine anger? Even according to thy fear, so is thy wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Do you number your days? Do you realize how important every single day is? Think of it. God has said that if you live to be 70, you may live to be 80. And then the scripture says, if you live to be 80, you're likely to have a lot of labor and sorrow and troubles and difficulties. I heard about a train passenger who was handing out cigars because the train down where I live arrived on time for the first time in a long time. That was a number of years ago. The conductor said he couldn't accept a cigar. Why? He said, because this is yesterday's train. There's the collapse of time all around us. Do you know in the days of Jesus, as fast as a person could go was as fast as a horse could run. And that happened all the way until 1830, when we developed an engine faster than a horse. Think of that. Those hundreds and thousands of years, all as fast as you could go, was on horseback. Then in 1910, we developed a military aircraft that went 42 miles an hour. And then I remember very well, just like it was yesterday, when Lindbergh took off for Paris. And in 33 hours, he was in Paris, and we thought that was really something. Today, we get on a Concorde, or some people do, and they're there in 3.5 hours. And in 1960, we started going through the air at 18,000 miles an hour when we got up in the stratosphere. Now, my father drove a horse and buggy, and we're trying to run today a space age on a horse and buggy moral and spiritual condition. Time is collapsing on us. How much longer do we have? The psalmist requested that the Lord remember how short my time is. Behold, thou hast made my days as a handbreadth, and mine age as nothing to thee. 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday, when it is past and as a watch. A watch is 4 hours in the night. One day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. He that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof, look to God like grasshoppers. The grass withereth and the flower fadeth, the scripture says. My days are like a shadow that declineth, and I'm withered like grass. But thou, O Lord, shalt endure forever, and thy remembrance unto all generations. Think of it. God will endure forever. But on this earth, we're like a shadow that's declining. We're all dying. From the moment you were born, you started dying. Because we're all heading toward death. Every one of us under the sentence of death. There won't be anybody in this audience alive, I'd say 90 years from tonight. Nobody. We'll all be gone. And what are you going to do with those years? Each human being has exactly the same number of hours and minutes every day. Do you know how many minutes there are in a day? 1,440. Do you know how many hours there are in a week? 168. Now, if you live to be 70, your first 15 is childhood or adolescence. You spend 20 years in bed. The last 5 years are physical limitations, and you're curtailing your activities. That means you only have 30 years left for everything else. 30 years to live. And part of that time has to be spent eating and working and figuring up your income tax. The scripture asks this question: what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. the oldest of us, won't live long.